Alaikum. Good morning, everyone. Honestly, it's a privilege and an honor to stand before you here today. And as we all together, to be honest, are going through one of the most transformative and impactful periods that you guys and myself are exploring and navigating in the financial leadership. That's about the topic of today, where digital revolution, to be honest, and if you may agree with me, is no longer in the horizon. It is here. It is here today. We are living it as a reality, and we should do something about it and adapt to it so that we can survive and sustain our business financially and on other matters. Those technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and automations are being too mature to us. That is really being on an edge that is reshaping the way we think, reshaping the way we operate, reshaping the way we lead. So it's probably time for us and financial leaders at all levels, CFO level and below, to adopt and accommodate and embrace this innovation, to adopt to this data-driven insights and cultivated agility. And if they do this, so they will not only survive, but they will excel on the thing that we do. So there is a key truth about this, which is the adaptability to what is happening with the digitalization, with the fintech solutions that is happening. And that's about today's subject, where we can explore what I have just said in some key components. So today we'll put and shadow some lights on those corner edges, to be honest. Embracing the digital information transformation, the impact of the data-driven decisions on this series, the role of those solutions, the impact, what value do they do to the way we do the business today, especially in the finance sector. And we'll spot some light also on what changes on the style and leadership that we need to adopt and follow so that we can move on with this change. And accordingly, there will be some ethical aspect of it that comes with this changes. So today's CFOs and finance people are no longer traditional, conventional number crunchers, where we do things the way we used to do for tens of years. Things are changing. Now, fintech and those solutions and AI and blockchain and robotics are becoming more reliable. They are a reality. If we don't utilize this to the extent, we will not probably compete with the market and will have some impact on our business continuity. So the shift from the conventional way we do the business and finance to this stage at two main levels. Adopting the fintech solutions with the other systems, and even by using the bigger kind of scale systems like enterprise resource planning systems at a cloud-based. Now with those two, there is always an inherited risk. This is our digital asset stored somewhere in the clouds and on systems, on a digital format. Therefore, spammers and cyber criminals will be probably able to hit those two things. And that calls for the fact that we have to have a change in our cybersecurity leadership, in our cybersecurity awareness, to protect those financial assets after we have learned and seen so many events that happened and impacted. This also calls for another factor that is not written here. Being our asset digitalized in a more fashion, this calls for a more importance and emphasis to be done on the business continuity and disaster recovery. If this shuts down, if the internet, for some reason, and it happened, stops for a while, we should have our workaround procedures, our business continuity to do the things the way you used to do it in the past. So we have to be ready for those things. Now the data. And moving from a conventional organization to a data-driven organization is another aspect that has to be considered on the change on the leadership of the CFO to move forward. And that includes the utilization of this data in some tools, utilizing a forward-looking of analysis. Once you put that huge amount of data and demographics on those tools, they will give you more accurate, transparent prediction of the behavior of your business, of the behavior of your cash flow, the sustainability of the cash, the probability and risk of financial failure, so that you can put the regime to prevent that failure. It will also enable you to have a prompt, real-time information that you can wisely put some judgment and respond to it accordingly. Another element and angle of that is that we need to do the business the way we think that this is right and this is profitable, but also considering from CRM perspective, from customers' perspective, is another vital, to be honest, element where we want to provide the service the way the customer would love to receive it, and that will probably position you on the market, because people's behaviors and expectation changed a lot for the last decades. So considering what they need and reverse the back on the way we do the business is very important factor. Now, what do those fintech solutions may do? There are a lot of benefits, as you have probably experienced. The simplest way is probably the ChatGPT, the blockchain software, all the kind of automation that we use will probably have so many benefits to the way we do your business by reducing most of the manual work that we do, automating the policies around the procedure and compliance, because it is stored online. And let me share with you my personal experience on this back in Saudi Aramco, and that was like before those AI and blockchain is there. It's like we're talking about 12 to 15 years ago. We use SAP ERP system, and we wanted to go for a process-centric organization. So we decided to experiment business cycles where we can document and validate the way we do the business using the business process management and business process optimization and improvement tools. And we use the tools called ERIS. Probably if we have some IT guys, they probably be familiar with it, to document and validate the transactions at different 6 levels, business cycles. So, for instance, we take requisition to pay. The moment we require the service from the vendor to the moment we pay it. There is a tremendous amount, especially in big organizations like Saudi Aramco. There is a huge interactions with different organizations horizontally. So we model that at level 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We end up with hundreds of transactions. For each transaction, then we can circle and outline the risk associated at the transaction level. We're talking now about bottom-up risk assessment. So once you really define the process and validate it and knows who's doing what, then you can lay back and look at this transaction and identify where is the risk associated with this transaction, Then you can identify the control that can mitigate, we call it compensating controls, to mitigate the risk to some certain reasonable level. It will not stop the risk. And at the same time, we may use to link it to the policy that governs the way we do this, to make sure there is the proper segregation of duties, there is no risk of double payments, etc. You can name it throughout that process. Other cycles like order to cash. The moment we order crude oil sales to somebody has ordered it with a sales order until we ship it to the vessels to someone in China. Capital bill to dispose, capital delivery, record to report, treasury, etc. So by then, at that time, we were able to drive easily the enterprise risk management and identified all the transaction level and score it up until we come up with the financial risks that is available. So that is one of the examples that has happened with improving the customer's experience is always there linked where we can use tools like chatbots and financial advisors. Now, how do this impact the way as us as CFOs in the leadership style? As I have just mentioned, with the example of the business cycles, there where it comes the cross-functional collaboration. By looking at the business from horizontal perspective, process-centric, rather than opposite, a vertical, people working in silos, procurement working alone, finance, IT, operation, etc. There is a huge amount of redundancy, miscommunication, malfunctioning, inefficiency, ineffectiveness. But when you get this process across all those organizations, you may eliminate tremendous amount of this. When we did this on ARIS systems, we used a tool called SAP Solution Manager. We compared that business view with the technical view, which is the transactions on SAP. So we have a business view from the user perspective and the users. And we have the systems, this configuration perspective, people who have designed the transactions on SAP under that company code. And then we re-engineer. Actually, I had to leave the company before we do this, but I understand that we've been trying to reverse re-engineer by comparing these two and eliminate all the redundancy. So we have a system process and the business process, very article. And then we can continually improve the process by maintaining this ARIS thing. We maintained knowledge retention. If I leave, somebody else can immediately do the business because he knows this every single transaction and who's doing that. Another factor of this style is also investing on your human capital. To be honest, changing the systems and moving forward will not give you the whole purpose. We have to continually reshape and sharpen and the skill sets of our people, the finance analysts that do the job. And we have to upscale their skill sets and abilities with the digital finances, solutions, artificial intelligence, Power BI, because they are powerful tools, to be honest. This doesn't happen only at that level. I think, and we believe, if you may believe, that this should be done even as a change of mindsets and culture at the strategic level. So this innovation, change, and agility has to be believed on the board of directors and the chief and the stakeholders, and then it cascades. It's more of promoting the culture of innovation and digital innovation in the finance sector, which is not very common and it never has happened before. Now, again, some ethical aspects that comes to it. I'm not very expert on this, but I think there are some aspects comes with the utilization of artificial intelligence in terms of scalability, governance, usage, what they call environmental and social governance principles, the ESG integration, and probably the usage with those fintech solutions to expand the service for this population. So, to conclude this, again, and recap, that this redefinition, is to be honest, will be based on a major, what I call paradigm shift in the mindsets of all levels of the organization, including for the financial leadership. I would probably get a simple example. This is a simple business card that we used to do for years, paper. We print a stack of this and we distribute. And at the end of the day, you get tons of those on your desktop, and you never. And this is another NFC card that some of us use, where you can just keep it closer to the mobile. I'm sure you used it before. And then it will open up all your details. You add it to your contact on the mobile, along with links to your LinkedIn, WhatsApp, email, etc. People who review is very simple innovation and move from this to this one, I think probably has to rethink that there is a reluctance on himself to move into digital use. This is a very simple example. How about if you go from conventional way of do our finance to artificial intelligence and uses of so that reluctance is always there, but I believe this is a very huge transformation journey for CFOs, and as we'll probably discuss this in one of the in the panels, I have a belief that this transformation probably has a huge risk of failure, or let's say partial realization, and that is not only focusing on the evolution of systems and policies and processes, but I think ideally we have to focus on our human capital. We have to focus on our staff as partners with us as leaders to move from this stage to this stage, as opposed to recipient. Not investing and not having the buy-in and sharing that vision with your own team will probably not give you the right. We're talking about going beyond your team to your customers. You have to outreach to your customers and listen to them and get your feedback. The way we do the financial service to them. Is it up to their standards? Their standards has changed. So if that happens, we have to consider all those opinions and listen to them, then go back and redesign the things and move forward. So the importance always and always on the capitalization over our human capital people to be partners into this. Not to mention the change management that has to be effectively in place to move from normal way of doing our business to the itemized, digitalized way of doing it. I think we have a couple minutes. Okay. We don't have much time to this, to be honest, like 10, 15, but I would love also to be interacted more and hear from you, your own view on this discussions, or if you have any item to do, or ask questions to ask, please.
My question is...
You have a mic?
Thanks for the excellent presentation and very knowledge sharing information. Once you start using the blockchain chat GPT,
Can you?
hello, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear now.
Okay, good. Once you share the information on the chat, GPT, and AI platforms, you need to share a lot of information. So that will expose you to the risk by utilization of some misutilization of the informations. How do you secure the risk?
So you're talking about if you upload your own confidential information to those platforms,
Yes.
it definitely will expose. And I think I'm not really aware of the regulations around that, but I think this comes here, somewhere here, with the ethical utilization to ensure the responsibility of the better practices. I'm not sure if this is application particularly is secure enough, but you have to be I agree with you have to be very careful into uploading sensitive confidential information, or we have to be encrypted in a way so that it can be manipulated, or at least get the assurance from this service provider on this fintech solution that my assets is safe, and any allowed or limited disclosure, you can sign an NDA with him. That disclosure of this will hold him liable for this. Thank you. This is a good question.
Thank you.
Plus, there is also a law called the PDPL law in Saudi Arabia, which is the personal data protection law.
Personal
data protection law.
Okay.
This is very much in vogue in Saudi Arabia, so this could also protect the information personalized. One can go through that as well.
True. I'm sure there are some...
Just for a small input on this
Thank
one.
you. Thank you for informing us. Guys at the back, you still need some more coffee?
Hello. Good morning to everybody. Mr. Naser.
Sorry. It's okay.
Yeah.
This is a very active table, by the way. We should spread you out.
Thanks for the appreciations. Yes, your presentation is quite informative, and just need to understand there are implementation of this AI, machine learning, all this. Just recently, a couple of days back, Bill Gates has given an interview, as already mentioned.
Can you get closer, because
Bill Gates has given an interview a couple of days back, and has given information that because of AI, there are millions of jobs will be going to be cut off. And just now we are speaking about the human capital. So how you understood or can explain about how the human capital can be sustained or can be play a part of role in an organization where AI and like ChatGPT or machine learning taking away millions of jobs in next coming futures. Very talented people maybe get replaced. Recently you have seen couple of good guys are in AI also has resigned because they are not sure the ethical use of AI is going to be sustained in future. It is a little bit of messy situations all over the world about the AI implementation, how effectively it will be good for humans or the business. Can you have some explanation on this? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is a very good question. Again, I'm not an HR expert on the retention of our human talented, but however, over like 4 transformational journeys that I did before, 2 in private sector and 2 in governmental sector, I've came to a conclusion that regardless if that transformation is to fintechs or to the paradigm like from government to corporatization, or even within the private sector, like back in Aramco, where we can go to accelerated transformation to renew and evolve and improve our processes. I have mentioned that we have to always consistently upskill our people. If they feel, first of all, if they feel they are partners with you in this change, they will definitely feel reluctant to move because they've been doing things for 30 and 25 years, and all of a sudden you want them to throw those papers and start using weird devices and softwares to do their business, would make them insecure that they will get fired in a way. We'll never go think about this. People who do not accommodate with this change due to the shortage of their capability have to be repurposed, retrained. I'm sure if you make me feel that I am part of this change, I am considered, and I will feel secure that these things and those machines will not let me go back home jobless. They will increase their motivation to go and learn those skills. And you have to be patient, and it has to be gradual that doesn't come overnight. But sharing the vision, making them well trained about those tools, will give them the confidence, at least let's go 70-80% of them, confidence to move forward and utilize those solution technologies. If they feel they are just doers of this, they will probably make you fail, because you care about changing the policy and the systems and the process. And say, this is where I'm transforming. While the person who's doing the whole thing has not been part of this, and when you impose this to him, he will just say, come on, I'm not just a recipient of this. So that's where people start leaving. I remember of one of the judges, I can't mention where, like when they decided to transform, they optimized the processes, and they decided this, okay, out of 500 employees, we now eliminated lots of redundancies. We only need 450. So 50 can leave. Who nominated themselves to leave? The best, most experienced senior people get a golden check, and they left home. And they discovered that the people here cannot handle more complicated situations. Instead of low performance leave, the most senior with the most experience, and they have the know-how, they left because they are at that age of service. Then they decided that they took the wrong decisions. The business has gone down. They decided to go and rehire new people to have this. So always consider the human capital in this journeys, where some statistics has mentioned that 70% of those transformational journeys fails. And this might be one of the reasons, not considering the human people and change management, the lousy communication across the stakeholders. So there are several ones around this concept. Thank you.
يعطيك العافية ناصر.
الله يعافيك.
Good speech. I have a question regarding what is the starting point usually to take the finance from the normal finance to digital finance. As you know, we have the core system, CRM, Oracle, etc. However, to move to digital finance and have these kind of tools, what do you recommend is the starting point?
To move from like ERP perspective?
Yeah, the normal finance, which is doing the entry manual, some small integration between some of the systems such as procurement, HR, to the sophisticated digital finance. For example, you mentioned AI, robotics, etc. What do you recommend is the starting point into these digital tools?
Well, I've experienced very often moving from different ERP implementations, going from legacy to SAP or Oracle. And that's probably easier because there is a substance, there is a capability available. But if you're saying about X organization that has a very humble systems and do not have that financial resources to invest on those tools, because those tools can be very expensive, they have to, first of all, evaluate that how much fund that they will invest initially to buy those tools. Is it wisely? It's not a must, is to move to AI and blockchain and utilize. You can survive your business, but at a certain point of time, you may need to start going that way. So that has to be part of your long-term planning, that does it have a value now to go and invest hundreds and millions of riyals to invest on those tools where your productivity and generation is sustainable and you are at a good level of acceptance to this or not. If you do not, I think there are lots of assessments that needs to be done at the investment level, at the capability of the people level, in terms of training, etc. Regulations, we're talking about now some of things that has to be imposed to your organization to be utilized, like integration with some platforms with the government. It's a must. So if you don't have that system capable to integrate with those platforms in, let's say, if in government, like say we have platforms in Ministry of Finance and bureaucracy and etc., then you have to go and invest. But I think that's a very sensitive decisions to move on before you do invest on those money. Is it a value? Is there a value added back to me now? Eventually, at a point of time in 10, 20, 30 years, that's going to be normal way of doing our business through those terms. And the regular conventional way of doing our number crunching will be just memories. Like we've been using the paper and writing those journal entries by hand, debiting credits, ودفتر الاستاذ والأوراق. Nobody does that. There are softwares. Now we are talking a more advanced, more digitalized, smart way of doing this, where there is a decisions and insights can be driven from those tools.
In the interest of time, I will request you all to take more questions a little later offline. He will be available as well.
Sure. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.